Welcome back to the channel. ThonLexy here with another reaction. Kendra G found this clip of this feminist talking about how there's this new demographic of happy unmarriageable women. And of course, she was all over it because she's an older woman who's trying to get adjusted to the idea that she's happy without marriage. Even though the topic of marriage never leaves her mouth, we see post-war women play this game all the time. Since their chances of getting married are dwindling, they try to act as if they never wanted marriage in the first place, or they try to denigrate the idea of marriage in totality. This makes for a great conversation. Let's not waste 1 minute.
They do not earn as much money as single women. They are not as happy as single women. They are more likely to suffer from addiction than single women. They are more likely to commit suicide than single women. They are more likely to die of suicide than single women. They report themselves in every single way that you can measure sociological data for wellness as being less contented than single women. Conversely, married men, on the other hand, married to women, outperform single men by such a measure that it is perhaps the healthiest thing that a man can do is to get a woman to marry him.
When we start getting women who come forth who are beautiful and gorgeous and have the pick of the litter when it comes to the good men in the dating market, start saying that they're better off without marriage, start saying that they're better off with men, then I'll believe it. But it's always you masculine, weightlifting, or women who walk around basically acting like men. It's only you women who have an issue with men and are trying to get men removed from any idea of value and significance.
I wanted to do this episode. First, I want to start off with this. I believe in marriage. So this is not an episode bashing the institution of marriage. I respect the institution of marriage. Most of my friends are married. I have said this 1,000 times. I think it's a beautiful thing if you find someone that you can agree to do life with. So please do not mistaken the title for I'm against marriage and I think marriage is whack. No, that is furthest from the truth. But what I do believe in is some people may just not get married. And it's very important for me to know that you are worthy. God knew that before he brought you to this planet. And don't let the world brainwash you to attach your worth to your relationship status of being married or not. So cheers to wives, cheers to women who are happily married. And I want to say happily married because here's the deal. If you like it, I love it. It's your life. But no, I do not respect a marriage where you're just not happy and you just got into the institution of it because of whatever reason.
Okay, let me stop right there because Kendra's been talking this. I don't want to be in a marriage that is toxic. That's why I'm not a big fan of marriage, because why would I get married just to get in a relationship that's toxic? Why do you always assume that whatever hypothetical marriage you get into is going to automatically be toxic? This is when I knew Kendra G had a bias towards men, and that's what slants her perspective in these conversations and stops her from being able to have a good perspective. Let's get back into it.
And there's 1,000 reasons why people get married. But if it's not something that you are happy in and it's not benefiting your life, then no, I personally don't respect it. But again, it's your life. And if you like it, I love it. But I wanted to spend some time this episode just to break down what's kind of happening and why women are happily not married.
You must be on something. Must be some powerful shit too.
Wait a second. Kendra, you know all your made up fantasy reasons for why you're happy not being married. What makes you think that you get to assume that every other woman who isn't married is just as content as you are? It has some type of philosophy surrounding their loneliness that makes them feel secure and helps their self-esteem. What about all the women out there who haven't found a way to make their career replace the value of a man? Or the women who can't do that? That's just not the way that they're wired. You could be unique in that aspect, even though I don't think you're unique in that aspect. I think you're delusional in that aspect. You know?
Pack her up.
Let's get back into it.
The ultimate goal for my dating app is marriage. So shout outs to the 12 plus people since I created my show, Kendra G Singles, and now we have the dating app.
The show has been going on, I don't know, what, 6 years? You've only gotten 12 people married.
Let me say something to you as a friend. You suck.
if you've talked to thousands of women, and I mean thousands of women over the course of the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, if only 12 of them got married, then that means that isn't the show that brings people together. It isn't the show that makes people want to get married. It's that this is just a medium for people to meet. You're always adding artificial significance to your show and inflating it when it's already a good thing inherently.
To 2 weddings out of the 12. I have more weddings to go to. So again, I believe in the institution of marriage, but what I do not believe in is getting married just for the title, just to say that you are married, for the wedding day, you know, for the beautiful dress, to invite everybody to the party, and you know you're not really happy, but you got to show up with a smile on your face. That's what I don't believe in.
Nobody in this conversation ever said that women should get married just for the sake of getting married, or just for the title, or get married void of any happiness or any fulfillment in the relationship. No one ever said that. Kendra just says that when she comes into these conversations, ready to derail them and cause trouble. Let's get back into the clip.
My bachelor degree. Can I talk? I got my bachelor's degree, and I also met a what marriage means to me. I talked about this in episode 1, how I actually was engaged. I did everything people suggest. You know, I went to college. I got my bachelor degree. Can I talk? I got my bachelor's degree, and I also met a man that was going to give me my MRS. Yes, me and my college sweetheart got engaged. And what I loved so much about both of us is we agreed that if we got married, divorce was not an option. And I actually believe that everybody should take that stance. If you are going to get married to a person, can you agree that divorce is not an option?
What are you talking about? Oh, you were married?
No.
Kendra, you didn't even go through with the damn marriage. Like, you didn't even marry this guy. Like, what do you think? Do you think that we care about what you and his terms of a marriage that never even made it past an engagement? What makes you think we even care? See, I told you guys, Kendra has a very inflated idea of her own success, even when she hasn't succeeded, even when she didn't even go past the finish line. She's still trying to give out marriage advice. You did the complete opposite of never getting divorced. You bailed on an engagement, you stupid. Let's get back into it, man.
No matter what. He loses his job, she loses her job, you will still be there.
You can't make this shit up.
She gained 60 pounds, he gained 60 pounds, she will still be there. You know, life happens and nobody's perfect. An outside baby gets created, you will still stay there. Because let's get into it. Like, I think that when people call me up to my show, they just present marriage as Disney World. Like, everything is so glorious and everything is so perfect. And that is not always the case, okay? Like, I have 2 friends.
People
and I
already
love,
know
like,
that.
Their parents are amazing, right? And I was like, they got, like, this is like the real life Cosby show, like 2 separate friends. And what I learned in their parents' marriage, an outside child was created in both situations. But obviously, their mothers never got a divorce. And that's just kind of what it was. And I don't know what she went through. I don't know what they went through overall, but that was a reality of their confinement. Now, am I saying that this happens in every marriage, that, you know, the man is going to have an outside baby? Of course not. So again, please don't misconstrue my words and say I'm trying to paint marriage as this dark institution and you have to tolerate so many things.
Well, Kendra, you are bringing up an anecdotal situation and blanketing marriage with it. I can't stand people who like you who do this. You do a thing and then you try to get ahead of the fact that you're doing a thing. Because you're trying to get ahead of this because you know that you have a lot of friends who are married who won't respect your demeaning of marriage. And that is what you're doing. Because every time you talk about marriage, it's always a bad faith argument. It's always like, why would I get in a marriage just so a guy can cheat on me? Why would I get in a marriage just to be in a marriage? Why would I get in a marriage just to be treated like shit? It's like, Kendra, why are you assuming that every guy you get married to is going to be a negative person just so that you don't look as bad for obtaining it? Let's get back into it.
But that is a component of marriage. Of course, if you're able to meet a person and you guys can agree to be best friends and it's you two against the world, that is a beautiful thing. And that is the marriage that I salute. Cheers to you. But what I have learned is that's not necessarily everyone's life truth and life journey and life plan. And I have learned that in this day and age, there's an attack on women who are not married.
Kendra, okay, I respect the fact that you say it's not every woman's life journey, but we have proof that it's yours. You were just trying to marry the scamming Nigerian.
And so she was like, why? My friends told me that you was looking for stuff on my man. I ride for mine. Now, he ain't her husband now. He's her boyfriend. Mind you, this lady is well in her 40s, okay? I don't think she's ever been married, and this is her boyfriend, okay? So this is not a husband. Talking about me and mine, we ride for mine. He's supposedly Nigerian. I don't know. And it was just really, really salty. Then she sent me a text message of her friend saying, hey, girl, Tasha K looking for information on your man. And I was like, baby Kendra, we don't look for information on nobody. Your people send it to me.
Right? And we saw you. We saw you trying to get pregnant by him. You're going to unthaw that pterodactyl egg. You wanted him to propose to you. You wanted him to get married. You were saying these things out loud, Kendra. Now that it's far out of your reach, you're acting like you don't want it. This is that Nia Long case study. Nia Long comes out with this statement saying that she's never seen anyone happy in a marriage. And that's convenient, saying that marriage has never been farther out of her reach.
I'll just use myself, and this is why I wanted to do this episode so bad, because I have heard time and time again, yes, she's successful. Yes, she's attractive. I love that y'all always say the truth, because, baby, you got eyes.
Everybody in this town know that Rasputia Lattimore is fine. Ain't I fine? Everybody knows.
But that's like the easiest thing for a woman to accomplish in the dating market. How about we start making our wins a little bit more significant than the inherent ones? If it was as easy as being a baddie, or which you're not a baddie, you're a decent looking woman. I would say you're a good looking woman, but a baddie, I wouldn't say that you're a baddie. And you're certainly past the damn wall. Like I said, women who only put the majority of their value in the way that they look, their dating standards will reflect that. Their dating standards will be jaded and emotional and juvenile, just like Kendra G.
You can see it. And yes, she appears to be happy. I'm happy. I have no idea why that can't be received, that I'm actually happy. They say she appears to be happy, but she's not married and she doesn't have children. Where's the insult? Where's the insult? Are you trying to imply that a woman truly cannot be happy if she's not married and does not have kids?
Why'd you freeze the pterodactyl egg? I'm never going to stop bringing up this ancient egg, because you did that to preserve this very happiness that we're discussing right now, that you said you don't care about. Like, I don't care about the happiness of having a family, though. So why did you freeze the potential of having a family and put it in a freezer and put it in a refrigerator?
It's turning the eggs.
Why didn't you just let it go? Why didn't you just let all of your eggs, wither away into the cosmos?
That is such a lie. And some women have fell for that brainwash technique. And what happened is they got married and then they learned the truth. For them, they were not happy. And now they have children, and now they're resenting their lives because they were able to get manipulated to this saga, I want to say, that says if you are not a married woman, you are not worthy. You need to be attached to a man to be worthy.
Again, another argument that's never been brought up by someone like me, anybody on Mr. Samuels' platform, Lapeef Network. I have never heard a man on any of these platforms say that a woman who doesn't get married has zero value. Never heard it. This is one of the many belief systems and arguments that Kendra G just throws to her opponents. She throws in the laps of her opponents and makes them own, even if they didn't even say it, so that she doesn't look as bad for being triggered from any logical place. No, Kendra, like, man, you work really, 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 really hard to be delusional. Aren't you tired?
It doesn't always work that way. And I got to tell you something. I am beyond proud that I can say I built my shit brick by brick, and can't no man get any, he cannot get any credit from it. I learned recently that some people, because I live in a very shoot building, and I learned that some people actually thought I am like an ex-wife and my money comes from like a settlement from a divorce, because they can't fathom their mind around the fact that a woman could miss the kind of success that I have. There are some women who were born to be attached to a man, get married, and his growth is her growth. And sis, there's really no diss. Like, I'm not here to judge, because I know God, and God is not in a box. God has brought us all to earth. We all have different purposes, and that might be your journey, and I respect that. But I have to say, that's not the only journey that deserves respect.
Whoever said that men don't respect women who are okay, truly and sincerely okay with being alone for the rest of their lives. If the men who are experts on this conversation weren't fully aware of the fact that most women are not happy at the end of the road when they reach the age of 55 to 60 and they don't have a significant relationship with a man, men would not say these things.
That, you know, I'm gonna live my complete self. I'm not going to shrink to be somebody's wife, and I'm not going to conform and give up my own dreams to be somebody's wife. That also needs to be respected, because that's what they're trying to manipulate. They're trying to manipulate women who are successful to believe, yes, you have everything but a man. Where's the insult?
I would believe that you were okay without a man if the pursuit ended. See, a lot of you women say, I'm okay, I don't need a man. I want a man, but I don't need one. I'm fine all by myself. I can do battle by myself. Cool. But you still got your boobs out everywhere you go. You still have your billboard up. You're still open to a guy coming in and paying for everything if he's willing to do it. But you're also okay with being by yourself. How about make a definitive decision on being alone?
Gotcha.
Because some women do. And Kendra, I don't think you're one of those women who woke up every single day of your life and being by yourself felt like the best thing. I just think that that's what you did. And I think that what you just did with that Nigerian guy a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago, and the engagement that you keep bringing up, proves that you've always had an ongoing pursuit of a relationship and a marriage. You just have not been successful.
And then also, what does that mean, but a man? See, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me personally is that I have no men in my life. I actually have a lot of men in my life. There's actually an army of men literally in my life. Just because I'm not sleeping with them in the bed doesn't mean that there's not men that's in my life, in my corner, that is about Kendra for real, 10 toes down.
Kendra, but they're not your husband. They're not your husband. That's the thing about that. Those men aren't your husband. Those men aren't responsible for you. All those guys that you think are your bro or whatever, Zach, whoever, eventually they have to start their own families. And their girlfriends aren't okay with some bimbo like you hanging around their guy, successful or not.
And because, see, all you do is you go off of social media. And what I've learned is, and I had to learn to give grace, there's a lot of people who are truly miserable. And because social media is free and most people have phones, it's no thing for you to just be in the comment section and say something negative. And I really saw a pattern. Like, I literally would post a video and I'm just walking happy, like, and I would see the things. Yeah, but you ain't got no husband. Yeah, but she ain't really happy. Yeah, but she ain't got no kids. Baby, I'm just walking down the street. Like,
now, I don't support guys who just randomly go to your page and just troll. But I will say this. Because men stay in a more of a logical place and a less emotional place about women's outcomes, men always are Men are always more knowledgeable on the potential outcomes of women in the dating market than other women are. And you better believe, Kendra G, when men see 40-plus-year-old women thirst trapping and going to Beyonce concerts, acting like a 15-year-old girl the way that you do, it's going to solicit a response. You are a successful figure, like you keep bragging about, and that comes with something. It comes with the opinions of the people.
What does that have to do with me having a husband? I'm at the BET Awards, and then I see these men, yeah, but you ain't got... So
why don't you just let these comments bounce off of you? If you really, truly, genuinely don't care about getting married, and you're going to be happy either way, you sure do raise a lot of conversations about not wanting marriage, about marriage not being appealing, about women who are in marriages aren't really happy, guys who are in marriages are really settling for their wives. It's all this negative stuff
that men had many, many years ago. See, there was a power that men had over women, and that was a power of control. There was a time when women couldn't get bank accounts, women couldn't get a house in their name. It was not socially acceptable to even have children without a husband. That was a time period. So women just sucked it up. They just dealt with it because there really wasn't an option of leaving him. The society wasn't going to accept you. How was you going to get jobs? So men were able to control women back then with finances and access. Well,
Kendra, you don't even respect the men and the women who have gotten you to the position that you're in. What in the world makes you think that that's control? What a lot of you women need to look at is that footage from when the feminist movement was in its inception. And there were women by the droves who were saying that they did not want to join the workforce. And they thought that all these new butchy broads trying to come out into the workforce are out of their damn mind. And they like being under the thumb of their husband. And it's good to see these images in black and white and in this old grainy footage so that you guys can see that the women of old weren't oppressed people. Matter of fact, they were stronger than you because they were willing to put other people over their own ambitions, over their own happiness, sometimes even for a family structure. And a lot of times, marriages, and the good ones certainly are not built on happiness, something that we have never successfully been able to measure as human beings. I think that's why we see so much of a high divorce rate in the black community. We only can stay married like 5 years. It's because we think it's about a vibe. We think that we're supposed to feel good the whole time. We think that we're supposed to like each other every day. And that's not how successful marriages are run.
It's a new day. I got to say cheers again. Even though I ain't drinking, I'd be like, we need to just cheers. It's a new day. Honey, women got their own coin. Women got access. You cannot manipulate women with money anymore. Now, there are some women you can't. So let me say this. There are some women that you can still, and maybe the word manipulate isn't proper. There are some women who are dealing with you because their finances are attached to it.
Accusations! These are just false accusations. And
It's natural role to not want to do the rigorous things. Why do you think that when you leave an entire community and left with the mothers raising all the children, everything goes to shit? Why do you think that? It's because it isn't in your natural order to lead a family. It's actually in your natural order to be a part of a family that's being led by a man. Like, oh, if I want to be a man, I can be a man. If I want to decide to be feminine, I can be feminine, and it's just a matter of choice, when actually these are inherent roles.
And again, like I said, you like it, I love it, it's your life, girlfriend, do you. But there are some women that you cannot control with finances. And these are the women that men hate the most because they want to be able to control. And when they can't control you, and when you are able to walk away from them and not miss a beat in your lifestyle, they don't know what to do with it.
Since this hypothetical high value guy is so intimidated by the money that you have, right? Because let's use your ideal candidate. Let's use your ideal man as an example. And let's look at what him being intimidated by you looks like. Let's say you make $300,000 a year. I'm just gonna guess. I don't know for sure, but let's just say you make $300K a year. Okay, and let's say he makes $500K a year. That's probably how much a guy would have to make to be able to date you, because you probably wouldn't date a guy who makes the same or even a little bit less. So let's just say he makes $500K a year. What makes him intimidated by you? You make less money, you're less valuable. He has all the leverage at that point because, again, he makes your income and he has 200K of in access money before you even come into the picture. So what makes you think that when a man is dealing with a woman in a relationship scenario, that it's her income that he's intimidated by? A lot of times it's never the money with you career women. It's the attitude that you women have associated with the fact that you have a career. It's your unhealthy negative bravado. It's your arrogance surrounding it. And arrogance is something that makes men attractive in the dating market, not women. Let's get back into it.
You know, the reason you're not married is because you're so successful, you're outspoken, you're not easy to control. Do you understand that this does not insult me? This really insults.
When I hear a woman say, you want a woman who's easy to control, I hear them say, you want a woman who's just going to listen to everything you say, which is absolutely right. We want a woman who's going to listen to us. Nobody's forcing a woman to be in a relationship. You don't have to follow the lead of the guy that picked you or that approached you. You can always go get with a guy that you trust. I think we're making this a lot harder than it needs to be.
You as a man. Because what you're saying is in order for you to have a wife, she has to be less successful. She has to be controllable. And she has to not have a voice, which means she will not be outspoken.
Who said this?
So that doesn't insult me. It actually insults you because what it proves is you can't deal with a woman that can challenge you in a way that you're not ready to deal with. And listen, I am not here to judge it. I'm just here to correct it because sometimes I see shots that people deem to be insults, which I take as a compliment. If you don't know, I'm 46 years old. I tell my age because I love my age. I'm a person who loves aging because I also learned another secret of life. Your life don't stop at 30. Your life don't stop at 35. It don't stop at 40. I'm here to tell you the secret. It gets better.
As many as you want. That's your tutu. You do what you want to do with it.
Kendra, stop it. Stop. This is painful. You should stop. Only men get better with age. I promise you the game hasn't changed. Only men are getting better with time. You know how a man can have a baby at 99 years old? You know how like you're out of the game with having kids? You're already done. You froze your pterodactyl eggs at 30 something, remember? Younger women want to marry us. They don't just want to just use us and gold dig. They want to marry older men. You see how older, fine women, they usually are just side booty. Because men know that the finer you are, plus how long you've been single, equals you're the goddamn problem. Let's get back into it.
Every year of my life, it gets better. So I don't live by the human clock of them saying by this age, you better be married, have children. No, honey, I'm on God's clock. And guess what? God's clock is still going because I still have breath in my body. Inhale, exhale.
Anytime black people are making really, really poor arguments or trying to win over a crowd, in desperation, they always just bring up God. And it's such a cheap tactic to use, and it's very manipulative. I'm glad that you used the word manipulative because I find this manipulative.
Okay, so you're not going to manipulate me to conform at a certain level because of an age that you have decided to live through. Because there's plenty of people who actually do live by the society clock for if you don't have this by a certain age, you better do it. And that's the biggest mistake because then let's just say you are that woman that says, I got to be married by 29 and you meet a person and you get married because you're 29, but then you learn that you're not really happy. You did it because of the manipulation of you have to do this by a certain age.
That's a bad faith argument because you're saying that, well, just because there is a rush on how quickly a woman has to make a good decision in the dating market, that she shouldn't make it. It's because there's pressure on a decision. That doesn't mean that the decision doesn't still have to be made. Yes, a decision made under duress and under stress or made out of desperation is probably more than likely going to be an illogical one. But that's never been the basis of the conversation. Nobody ever said, women, you all should get married under any circumstances. And if you don't, you're losers. Nobody ever said that. That's just what you're saying.
Now, I talked about this in episode 1, and we talked about children. And yes, there is some truth to women and wanting to have children. Now, granted, if 60 is going to be hard for you to have kids biologically, okay? But you can adopt.
Are you dumb? I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb. Are you, like, medically speaking?
But you're 60. Have you even thought this through? Kendra, how does your body feel right now at 46? I know you're probably going to say it feels just as good as when you were a cheerleader for the Buffalo Bills or whatever you used to do. But you're not being honest. Your body is already starting to decrease and you're 46. Imagine where it's going to be at 60. You sure you want to be chasing around a 4 or 5-year-old at 65? I know you're not thinking this through.
Mother, right? Like, I think that I have to say this because, yes, biologically, there can be could be a time frame for a woman that wants to have a child biologically. But we have already seen women at the age of 50 with assistance become mothers. And guess what? Maybe that's not for you. Maybe that's not for you. I respect that, but you can't judge the woman that it's for.
We absolutely can. This is a free country. Freedom of speech. People have a right to disagree with people's lifestyles. There are some people who don't agree with men who want to have like more than one girlfriend and so on and so forth. But they put it out there, know that it's up for scrutiny, and they know that some people will support it. It's just, I know, I'm tired of like women thinking that they get to control the outrage. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on.
2030 or whenever you watch it. But right now it's 2025. It's a whole new world, okay? It's a whole new world. Marriage right now is difficult for a lot of people because you got social media. That is the number one thing you got to think about when it comes to social media. There was a time, I feel like men kind of have been men forever, and there are some genuinely good guys. So I want to salute men because this is not, I'm not a male basher. I know so many amazing men, like truly amazing men, and they are a part of my life. So you know what? Cheers to you. But there's a lot of goofy men on the internet. There's a lot of goofy men on the internet, baby.
Oh, here we go again. Damn.
And one thing I've learned, internet men, ooh, child, these are the poor babies that can hide because in life, in person, they have no, I don't want to use the word coof, but they're small. They're small in person, but they can be a giant online. But to me, you're still small because I can see right through you, right? So I think that sometimes because of the comment section and some of the men that I have to respond to at times, you're the men that I know are not happy. And that's why God's working on me. I'm working to pray more and feel grace for your unhappiness than to be offended by the words that come out of your mouth, because happy people don't talk and say the certain things on the internet in the comment section that a lot of men have stated. But you wonder why some of you men can't get wives. A woman would happily choose a dog than to be married to you.
Kendra, what makes you any better than the men you were just describing? Because now again, now you're being just as denigrating. Every time you're trying to go on a witch hunt, you just end up showing everybody that you out here doing voodoo.
The honeymoon want the bragging rights of being a wife, but don't really want the job description. They want the job title, but they don't want the job description. And like I said earlier, if you can...
Kendra, aren't you the same woman that said you want to be married, but you don't want to be viewed as a traditional housewife? You want to be viewed as a career woman, which is not, historically speaking, what a wife's role is. Matter of fact, you're trying to redefine what it means to be a wife because that's convenient for your circumstance. But now you're trying to tell everybody what marriage means. All you've done is formulate arguments where you're not defining it, where you're redefining it in a way that's to your liking. Let's get back into it.
Not marry a man and agree that death do us part, then you just shouldn't marry that man. And we are living in a time where there are some women who just don't know what the sacrifice of being a wife is. And one will say, Kendra, you're not married. How can you speak on marriage? What? That's the dumbest shit. Let me tell you why it's dumb. I don't have to get married to learn what marriage is.
Now, that I agree with. And if that's true, then that means you should have never said that Kevin Samuels can't give women dating and relationship advice because he was divorced. Because by same argument, you're saying that because you've never been married, you can still have an opinion, you can still learn. So why can't people who have had mistakes, men who have had maybe a baby mama, like had a divorce or two, why can't they learn from their mistakes and become knowledgeable about dating and relationships and spread it for men?
Pause. I said pause, nigga.
And let men be able to get the game. Why is that?
And the sacrifices they make on a daily basis. Also, I told you I was engaged, and it was a real engagement, not a play. We really took it serious. And in taking it serious, I learned that you have to decide that he comes first. Not your dream, not your journey. He comes first. And guess what? I was wise enough to say, that's not what I want. That's not my truth. I'm not giving up who God birthed me to be in order to say I'm somebody's wife. I'm not.
But Kendra, didn't you literally start your dating show because you were looking for potential suitors? Not just for other people, but you said you had gotten out of a relationship yourself and you were just looking to see who was single and so on and so forth. And we have proof that you've tried to get in relationships since that engagement. You did, like, if you would have fully committed to your career and never tried to get married to anyone else, and you're still actively have a profile up on your own website looking for somebody who will want to date you. So again, which is it? Nothing in your life says that you're closed off to dating men or getting married.
I'm not shrinking, but I'm not shrinking for a man. I'm not shrinking for no one. Like, let me tell you something. I'm at the halfway point of my life. I'm 46 years old. My grandmother died at 93, so I feel like I'm going to be here at least to 93, okay? I am at the point in my life, I'm not shrinking for a soul. I am going to live my full, complete self. And if you can be attached to that, great. If you can't, sorry, deuces. Not mad at you. Go about your life. I'm going to go about mine. I'm not shrinking for no man. I'm not shrinking for no relative. I'm not shrinking for no friend. I'm not shrinking for nobody that watches my show. I'm just not shrinking. I'm living my full, complete life all the way until I see Jesus. And that's just what it is. So I'm not going to conform. And if the requirement is, in order for you to get married, you have to become less than, well, y'all can have that shit.
Nobody ever said that to get married, you have to be less than, or you have to be treated as less than. Kendra can't help the fact that a woman is inherently in a lesser position. That Kendra will never be able to deal with, because I truly believe Kendra has an inherent bias towards men. It could be because, you know, it's that growing up as a dark-skinned black woman who isn't gorgeous, sometimes you have it a little bit rough. Some women, the things that guys have to say and the things that men do, it bounces off of them. And some women, it sticks because they're just more emotionally vulnerable and they never went to therapy and got it unpacked. So now every man that they see a potential negative relationship. They see something toxic. They see something dangerous even. Hit the subscribe on your way out of the room. Also hit the notification bell to be notified every single time we post content just like this. It's ThonLexy. I'll see you guys on the next one.